In this section, we're going to start off by looking at congruent figures. To start off with, we're going to look at some key concepts. The definition of a congruent polygon. Congruent polygons have congruent corresponding parts, their matching sides and angles. When you name congruent polygons, you must list corresponding vertices in the same order. So if you look at our example here, we have polygon ABCD, which is congruent to polygon EFGH. When I said ABCD, I have to match the spot from each polygon to the one on the other polygon using the same letter. So if I started with A, I would have to start with E on the other one. So here you can see that line AB is congruent to line EF, and positions A matches position E, and position B matches position F, and they're congruent because they are congruent figures. In congruent figures, all the lengths of the lines are the same, and the angle measures are the same. The next theorem we're going to look at is theorem 4.1, called the third angles theorem. The theorem states if two angles of one triangle are congruent to two angles of another triangle, then the third angles are congruent. So here you can see that angle A is congruent to angle D, and angle B is congruent to angle E. So because of these two congruent angles, we can come to the conclusion that angle C is congruent to angle F. Now we're going to look at an example of proving triangles congruent. Here we're given the information that line LM is congruent to line LO, line MN is congruent to line ON, angle M is congruent to angle O, and angle MLN is congruent to angle OLN. And here you can see all of that is indicated in the diagram to the right. And we're being asked to prove that triangle LMN is congruent to triangle LON. So first we're going to start off with our statement. Our first statement is basically the given. So line LM is congruent to line LO, and line MN is congruent to line ON. And this is basically given. Our second statement is line LN is congruent to line LN. The reason is because of the reflexive property of congruence, and you can see that because both the triangles share that same line. Now our third statement is going to be angle M is congruent to angle O, and angle MLN is congruent to angle OLN, and this is a given because if you look in the top section of given, they gave it to us. Now statement 4, angle MNL is congruent to angle ONL by the third angles theorem. Statement 5, triangle LMN is congruent to triangle LON by definition of congruent triangles. And the definition of congruent triangles is that they have the same sides and the same angle measures at each corresponding position.